Hello and welcome to another episode of Ivy Backed. I am Austin Harrison and I am so excited to be back. I took last week off because it was just a wild weekend. We had a bunch of different people in town to play Mythic Mischief and other games with us. So it was a blast just kind of seeing a bunch of people that I've been watching on YouTube for a very long time now. So it was wonderful to get to hang out with them, eat good food, play good games. Unfortunately, lost Decrypto for my team of Alex Radcliffe and Becca Scott on stream or on video. Not a good feeling, but I'm working past it. I'm gonna have to just meditate and think about that loss. But it was a blast. I can't wait for you guys to see that content. We'll be releasing a lot of that content over the next month. The very first thing that was shot in studio is for that will be released was for Legend Academy. So we had Jeremy Howard and Jesse both wanting to do content around Legend Academy, which is coming out next week. Real quick, I'll actually even give you a little preview because I'm excited about this game. So I didn't get to play it. Zach did. And Zach was the only person that had not played before. So he was a little bit disadvantaged. And he said, I'm really excited about the game, but I didn't do well. And so I'm excited that even though he wasn't winning and he felt really behind, that he still liked the game and still excited about it. So I'm really excited to check it out. It launches in 6 days and 17 hours. So I'll be covering this next week for sure. We really like the look of the game. We really like Eldorado Games. They're friends of ours. And we really think that this is a rival school to the School of Mythic Mischief. This is a school where legendary heroes like Robin Hood and Paul Bunyan are going to learn. And Mythic Mischief's a school where a bunch of miscreants like zombies and Frankenstein's monsters go. So, they feel like they might compete in sports, which is fun. All right. But enough about Legends Academy there. We have to do a giveaway from last week. So last week's episode of Ivy Backed was about Bantam West, Soul, Raiders, and Spires, and Hildegard, art was incredible. I'm really excited about that game. But Bantam West, special news flash, we are playing Bantam West tonight at 8:30 Central on Ivy Played. To me, the creator Ike and me and two people from our Discord. Really excited about that. That should be a really, really good time. So please come out and hang out for that. But yeah, this was just, what you're excited about on this was the comment picker. So we're going to go ahead and pick a winner. Yell.space ow. I'm assuming that's yellow. A board game sandbox sounds like a really great and unique idea. If you don't know, Bantam West is a sandbox game, an open world game. So I'm happy for you to have won yellow. If you can reach out to me on Discord, just at Austin, and we will get you your game. If you already have a Kickstarter exclusive edition and you want something else, we could talk about that as well. But just reach out to me on Discord. If you're not on Discord, join it. But if you really don't want to do that, you can also reach out to us on social media and I'll try to get you a game. All right. Enough about that. All right. So I wanted to talk about a few different things, but also I want to say hi to people in chat here. We got Manny Dread, Dark Fox, Aaron, Successful Geek, Dave. Good to see all of you. Justin. Hat game is always on point. I feel like I've been wearing this hat a lot, Justin. I need to get some more going here. But thank you for saying so. Really, really pumped that you're all here. Thanks for tuning in. Someone said the let's talk demis, and that is really true. Today is about demis. I really should have also covered. People have wanted me to do like a rewind on like Veiled Fate and Moonrakers, and this would have been the week to do it because both Divinus and Oros talk about demigods, so we could have just thrown Veiled Fate into the mix. We're instead talking about Earthborne Rangers as our final of the three. And that just launched, and I added it to the video, and I pressed go. So I didn't get it. It just launched because Kickstarter was having some errors, so I didn't get a long time to look at that. But yeah, let's dive in. We're gonna start with Divinus. So Divinus has been something that's been on my radar for a while now, and that's probably because so many. Oh, let's talk demis is still up here. Sorry, Dark Fox. Can't get into Legend Academy, settle for Mystic Mischief. Come learn at the second-rate school. Hey, it's not second-rate. It's just not for, goody two-shoes, all right? Get out of here. Dave, Veiled Fate sounds familiar. Where did I hear about that? Nice. All right. Enough about Veiled Fate. I'm going to table that to Divinus. Divinus was really popping up on my social media feeds. There were a lot of influencers playing the first two scenarios of this, and everyone that I saw post was like, cool, when do we get the rest of the scenarios? Because two was not enough. And that's a good sign, right? It's sometimes chapter-based games, scenario-based games, legacy games are hard to get into with a group, right? It's hard to get 3 or 4 people to show up at your house for every week for a long time. Gloomhaven being an excellent example. I think that's one of the only games where I've gotten that to happen. Maybe a little bit of Pandemic Legacy as well. And so it's a really good sign that so many people were saying that they were hungry for the next thing and not just kind of like, oh yeah, we experienced it. It's good. So Dave said Divinus would be my I missed out on Destinies, and so I guess I need something from Lucky Duck. If you're not familiar, Destinies is another game from Lucky Duck Games that is also a hybrid. A hybrid means that it's going to be a board game that has some kind of digital component. A really good example of this in my collection is Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, which is ironic because Earthborne Rangers, one of the designers of that game, used to work at Fantasy Flight and was a part of that game. We'll come back to that in a second. Which I do not believe Earthborne Rangers has a digital component, but that's beside the point. All right. So Divinus, really, really good things that I've heard from the community. It's at $100,000, so already 400% funded. I was actually expecting this number to be higher today, and it still will go up. There's no question that it's still going up. But it had a lot of followers, so I'm expecting it to just kind of like keep boosting as they keep on releasing content around it, and as the days go on, it could have a really, really huge final days. Sometimes some of these campaigns that have a lot of interest, they just fund really well at the very, very end. And I mean, people haven't gotten paid yet. It's the 27th, right? So a lot of people get paid at the beginning of the month, so they might just be waiting for that to hit. It's kind of a weird thing to talk about, though, because that's like the logical thing in people's brain, but this won't charge you until 15 days from now. So like you could back it now and then it would hit your credit card after you've been paid, but neither here nor there. Okay, cool. Lucky Duck Games. I'm going to start off by saying I'm a little biased. Okay, so I recently talked to Vince, who's their I think their owner, and actually he's this guy right here. Bum, ba, bum. I'm going to skip the intro thing. Hey, what's up? Very, very nice and helpful and kind guy. Gave lots of good advice for me. We were talking specifically about cons and translations because they do a lot of different translations on their games. Had tons of great advice for me, so I really, really respect them and am very appreciative to them. So I'm a little biased, but I'm going to try to rein that bias in. So anyway, here we go. Gamefound. You guys know that I have feelings about Gamefound. I do think it is probably a slightly better platform with a little bit less reach right now. I think it'll gain reach. I think Kickstarter is still a better discoverable platform. I think discovering games on Gamefound is extremely difficult. And there are just some qualms I have with Gamefound that I really hope they fix. The first one is this featured pledge right here. If I just came to this page and I looked up at the goal, I was like, oh, cool, they're funded. All right, almost 1,000 backers already. This is great. Oh, the starting pledge is 120 grand. Why would I, or 120 grand. Gosh, I'm tired. 120 euro. Wow, that's a lot of euro, right? That's wild that that's the entry-level pledge. Why would I think that? Why would I think it would be the entry-level pledge? Well, that's because in Kickstarter, all the pledges are there and all of them are entry level, and it's still in the same spot. So either put this somewhere else. Don't have it be in the Kickstarter where all the pledges go, because people are going to come here and just see that and get sticker shock. They're just going to be like, I don't have a way to anchor this. I haven't seen anything about the game. I don't know what's in it. I just know that it's 120 euro. I can't afford 120 euro. I'm not going to be convinced by this game, so I'm getting out of here. I think that this is bad on Gamefound. I'm going to be clear, not on Divinus. This is a Gamefound issue, not a Divinus issue. Divinus should put the game that they want, the version they want to sell the most of, in the featured slot. That just makes sense, right? But I think this is bad. I think this is a scary thing before we've sold anyone, right? The point of a Kickstarter or a Gamefound page is to convert on traffic that you are driving to the page. And this just doesn't do that for me. I think it actually is sticker shock. Okay. Should they feature core pledge, successful geek? Maybe. This is what they're trying to sell the most of. They will probably sell more of it this way, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. So moving on from there. Lucky Duck Games, the Divinus launch live. So this is cool. They've got a video of their kind of like launch stream that they did. We're going to be doing something very similar to this. We're going to be doing a long launch stream, an all-day stream like we did for Veiled Fate for Mythic Mischief. I really wish you could embed videos on Kickstarter. You cannot. I wonder if this was embedded, and if it is, I really like that, and I'm sad that that is not a thing on Kickstarter because there's too late to switch to it's too late to switch to Pledge or Gamefound for this. It's not something we want to do right now. And so yeah, I would be sad because I really want to be able to embed a video on Kickstarter's page for a live list. So yeah, cool. Some things that I talk about a lot are two things. Top page. Quotes. You want to have a quote in there somewhere from someone, and you want to have art, and three things. And you want to have, if you've had games before this that are successful, laurels, some kind of praise for your past games. And right away they have this launch live thing. That's probably going away. It probably won't be there tomorrow. That's my assumption. So let's that was great for the first day. Let's skip past that. Then we've got some quotes. I think they might move these down. That's just a guess because starting the page with quotes is a little weird, but it looks good with the launch. So I'm really curious what it's going to look like tomorrow, and I'm probably going to come back just to see. But I love this. You got Jan from Quackalope here, another evocative and inventive design. The two first scenarios have me hooked. Like I was saying, a lot of people said that. The peak of app-driven games from the Hungry Gamer, and gorgeous production, incredible story, incredible fun, and exciting story, and incredibly fun gameplay. So really, really solid quotes. And then here we have those laurels I was talking about. The team that brought you Chronicles of Crime and Destinies, two really, really massive games. Destinies has been all over my feed. I'm sure it has been yours too. Divinus mixes sophisticated app with a legacy gameplay and a campaign that offers unique tabletop experience. Great little blurb of what it is. All right, this is what it actually feels like is the top header image of something like would be on Kickstarter. I think that might move in. Austin, you rock. Thanks, Mark. It's good to see you, my friend. Looking forward to releasing some video content together in the next month or so. It's been too long. All right, Successful Geek. I wish they would embed a better video hosting like Vimeo or Wistia. Oh, Successful Geek, you're speaking my language. Wistia would be amazing. I love Wistia. I have a Wistia shirt that I wear on stream sometimes. Wistia is my jam. Unfortunately, it just doesn't quite work. Fine during live stream, but then re-embed in a better host. Yeah, I don't know if you can host or embed with Wistia, but I would love to do that. We should actually look at that on Kickstarter. Embedded videos on Kickstarter, that would be great. I agree, Dark Fox. Oh yeah, I'm really digging the style of the quotes as they are designed. The hooked especially. Let's go back up. Yeah, you have me hooked. Yeah. They definitely spent some time on these quotes, and I think quotes are one of the things you really need to spend time on. Obviously, like man, there's some campaigns that have just really nailed quote sections. It's one of the things I've taken the most notes on in the last how many months, 3-4 months I've been doing this show. So yeah, okay. Continue on. This feels like the top header image to me, and that's fine. They might reshuffle this after today. I will be coming back to kind of just look. Maybe I'll touch on it on the next week episode. It's just like, hey, remember when I said they're going to reshuffle this top of this page? But maybe they don't, and I don't think it'd be bad if they didn't. Like most people are going to make it to here on the page, so you're fine. Ancient Greece is being invaded by a pantheon of Nordic gods who have left their destroyed world in search of new land to rule over. A fierce clash of gods is about to begin, and a new pantheon will be formed from the ashes. The prophet Pythia foresees that one person of great power, a new Divinus, will ascend as a demigod of great renown. You can win the favor of either side and claim your own seat among the gods. So really should have talked about Veiled Fate today as we're talking about Oros and Divinus, because they all have those demigods, don't they? All right. Based on my experience, they play nothing alike. It's just got, a little bit of that renown and theme and that kind of stuff. All right. Quotes are things you really want to spend time on, quoted by Austin. Nice, Dave. Nice. Divinus is competitive legacy hybrid board game for 2 to 4 players. It features both campaign and infinite replayability game mode. This is so smart to have here at the top because so many people are just like, oh, okay, so it's got X number of, campaign modules or chapters or whatever you want to call it, and then it's just done. The game is dead. I should sell it. But if it's a true legacy game, then maybe I can't sell it because I've put stickers on stuff, which I think you do in this. So I like that it's got a infinitely replayable game mode because it makes it not just worth those 12 episodes. It wouldn't have been the end of the world if it was only the campaign, but still, I like that they've done this. I think it adds to the sellability of the game. So yeah. Cool. I'm surprised there's not a solo mode. I think that with an app-driven game, there is an opportunity to do a solo mode a little bit easier, and I instantly take that back because developing for an app, a digital platform, is extremely difficult. It's just the execution of a solo mode would be a little bit easier than having like, an Automa deck or something like that. You could just have it come up on screen. And so I'd like to have a nice solo mode digital product, but I understand how much development and time and extra work that is. So it makes sense that there's not, and I haven't played the game. Maybe it'd be really weird to do a solo mode for it. But I am on the lookout for a game that is a digital component. What is Lord of the Rings Journeys to Middle Earth? Does that have a solo mode? I'm gonna have to look into that. But I do think it's interesting. All right. So it's got this kind of like card laying exploration style thing, and I love those type of games. There's Seventh Continent that kind of has that like card laying type stuff. So I'm kind of getting like feels of that mixed with a digital game, mixed with like a Greek versus Nordic god theme, and all of those things are getting me excited. Like that sounds amazing. 45 to 60-minute like sessions, so it's very approachable from that standpoint. 2 to 4 players, ages 12 plus. I've really got to ask Vince, like, okay, what's with the 12 plus versus the 14 plus that Americans do? And what's with that? Because they treat that totally differently when they're a European country. So I really need to ask questions about that. They might just not be charged that for all of EU, and then they just eat the UK price, or maybe they have special relationship. I don't know. But somehow they don't. I have not seen very many EU-based companies that charge VAT. And I think they don't charge VAT. And we will go down and look at it, where I would argue any American company should be charging VAT. You just can't afford a 20% markup on everything. Like, it's just too much. Why back now? I need to move where I have why back now on my current Kickstarter that I'm working on way up, because this is a great placement for it, right? Because it's you haven't really seen anything, and that's I think why I have it lower. But like, this is a good place to introduce some of the stuff that you get a deeper dive on later. And so I think I want to move mine up. I like this here a lot. And check out this design on this box. This is so cool. This like broken box here. It makes this part right here feel more special. And I think that's really cool. But going from the top, you've got a free expansion. Every pledge comes with a free Pandora's box expansion. So I initially was like, why is it just so... I love the design on it, but it doesn't really tell me anything about what's in the box. The reason is that's all the stretch goals and stuff. The game is growing as it funds, and that's where all that stuff goes, and it comes free as an expansion. So, hey, Dave, cool. Journeys to Middle Earth was Dice Tower's solo game of the year, wasn't it? Good to know. I should play it solo. I thought it had a solo mode, so I think that was why I was probably surprised this one didn't have a solo mode. But once again, totally understand that digital production is just extremely hard to do. Board Game Geek, man, I wish I could be on this properly on another gameplay at the moment, sadly. Well, that is totally fine. Watching but not listening. Hi, Alex. I don't know if you can read lips or not. Okay. Access to exclusive content. Item marked as Lucky Duck exclusive won't have a wide retail release. All right, so this is new, and I do want to explain this. I want to get into this because this is something that IV is going to be moving towards as well. What this means. Okay, so I'm going to couch it from our perspective, and this is something I talked to Vince about as well. I'm really thankful for him. So a Kickstarter exclusive is something that can never be sold again, right? It's just, well, some companies do. They'll go to cons and they'll sell it there. I don't like that. I think that if you say something's Kickstarter exclusive, it needs to be Kickstarter exclusive, you'll never sell it again. Some people take that as, we'll sell it again on another Kickstarter. And that might be okay, but then like it really does, in my opinion, make people mad when it's like, I backed that campaign because it had a Kickstarter exclusive, and that made the valuation of it different for me because I knew I could, if I didn't like it, I could resell it and I'd make money because of the Kickstarter exclusive part. And I think that is important as far as like looking at it from a valuation perspective. What does Lucky Duck exclusive mean? Lucky Duck exclusive means this is not going to come to a retailer. Maybe it's not going to come to a retailer that also hasn't backed the campaign. Maybe a retailer could back this campaign and get that. But it's going to be exclusive to Lucky Duck's website. What that does is it lets them control the price of it long term. So it's not going to end up in a bargain bin at your local, FLGS. Yeah. And it's going to always be, let's say, $20. I'm not sure what just for sake of argument. And I like that because then it's like, this has value, especially if that Pandora's box is the Lucky Duck exclusive, which I'm not positive is. We'll get that to later in the page. Because then you're getting it for free, but it will always be $20 to someone else. And so while you won't piss off everyone that wants it later on, but now won't buy your game because they can't buy all the content, because there's a bunch of completionists in the board game hobby, you're now just getting $20 of value for free. And it's not going to randomly be discounted to $10 or $5 later on. So you have this really nice fallback, and it's a good way to try to make everybody happy, in my opinion. And so we're going to be trying that on our next campaign. We'll see how it goes. We've done Kickstarter exclusive before this, and now we're going to do some IV exclusive and see how it goes. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, because that's something that I'm actively thinking about constantly. So cool. I can't read lips, but I unmuted when I saw my name on screen. Nice. Design of that Tartarus tuck box, green black, is so awesome. Oh yeah, I'm getting to the tuck boxes, Paul. They're going to be awesome. Dave, I loathe Kickstarter exclusives. I'll skip a game entirely if I think I'm going to miss out on something substantive just because I missed out on the chaos. That is great to know, Dave. I feel like there are a lot of people that feel that way, which is why I'm hobby or company exclusive. Even better, Dave. Cosmetic chaos exclusive, that's fine, but not actual content gameplay related. Actually, that's really funny because our free content on, I'm talking way too much about our company, but our free content on Mythic Mischief is a new faction. And it was also going to be a Kickstarter exclusive. We changed it to an IV exclusive, but the Kickstarter exclusive fact is that they glow in the dark. So I'm pumped about that. Cool. Moving on. Divinus, bring the game to life and vote on which new mythological being gets added to the chest of plenty. So there's some really cool interactive things here. You get to be a part of bringing the game to life, and you get to influence the end game. I love campaigns that are able to do that. Language editions, fully translated into English, French, and Polish, and a German version after the campaign. Basically, it's saying if you want a German version, don't back this, which I think is funny. They could have just offered a German version, but I think there's a reason. I think the Spiel Offensive is a popular crowdfunding site there. So I'm wondering if that is true. I'm just kind of guessing there, but we'll see. All right, so this gets you to the like smart object part of Gamefound. So once again, I'm going to hit on Gamefound and not Divinus here. I just don't like the order here. We're starting at 120, we're going to 59, we're going to 99. Like, anchor the price higher, lower, so that it higher, lower. Anchor the price higher on the page at a lower, and then build on what you're adding to that, and then show that 119 with a savings of €15, right? Like, that's great. It's all in one box. We've already talked about how I hate how the stretch goals are, because right now it looks like there's only 4 stretch goals. I'm assuming there's more than that. And add-ons are okay. That doesn't make me mad. All right, stretch goals. All unlocked stretch goals will be added for free to each Gamefound pledge at Divinus. Most of these stretch goals will be collated into a new Lucky Duck Games exclusive expansion called the Pandora's Box. I was right. It is a Lucky Duck exclusive Pandora's Box. So you are getting something that's kind of Kickstarter exclusive. It's not really. It's exclusive to the company. See, if people really want it, they can go buy it later on. But you're getting it for free. And so this will cost some amount of money later. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30, maybe it's $40, but you're getting it for free as a part of backing the campaign. And I think that's a compelling thing, but I might be biased because I'm currently planning a Kickstarter that does something similar. So would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, Paul, in my opinion, it should always be lowest to cheapest to show additional content you get into each tier going up. All right, so I think that's roughly the same thing I said. Feels like they're really pushing a hard sell for the chest of plenty. Dave, 100%. And you always do want to push a hard sell for your biggest, like, you want to always convert at the highest you possibly can as a publisher, because it really, you're usually stuffing so much content into that you have to hit a certain scale in order to make it cost effective. And so I completely understand doing that. But I'm not upset with Divinus. I just think Gamefound is featuring it in weird ways. So yeah. Yo, what's up, Game Brigade? Oh, YouTuber Star Wars fan. Hi to my favorite published YouTuber. Thank you so much. I really want to play a Star Wars game with you sometime soon. Let's make that happen. That's Brian, if you guys don't know Brian, and you should check out his channel. He's great. All right, cool. What are myths? Each myth is a special standalone custom-written scenario. So these are the scenarios that were given to the people. I think there are 12. Is that right? I don't see a number on here. I believe there are 12, though. So you get a little bit of what's in each myth. And so this is a little feature of the myth number 1. It's apparently a Lucky Duck exclusive. So this will be one of those things in the Pandora's box. Okay, I'm going to skip over some stuff because I'm already spent 24 minutes on this campaign. Dang it, I have a lot more to say about this. Okay, let's go to the tuck boxes, because I think that's one of the I like that you can choose a side. I did want to talk about that from a story thing. It is less on rails than almost any other game I have seen of this type, because usually it's like you're fighting for the good guys, go kill some orcs, go do some stuff. This you get to choose. And I think that's really unique, especially because it's a legacy game with a digital component. So the choices that you're going to make aren't just like, I get like this color, and that's like, you know, if you're playing a World War II game, like the faction you choose just as your units and your type of thing, it doesn't affect things. Like this, you're choosing to help one side, and it's going to have implications for the rest of the game. I think that's really cool. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Gain powerful out effects. So yes, I'm skipping over a lot. I'm sorry. There's some really cool gameplay factions or sections here. You know how much I like gameplay sections. But one thing that I thought was really unique is they took something that is generally a storage object, which is the tuck box, and they have made it a part of the game and how you're like upgrading your character with artifacts and different things. I find that really compelling and interesting. I love that it's not just a tuck box. If you're thinking of Gloomhaven, like those boxes, I take my stuff out, I throw all the stuff on the board, and I put those tuck boxes back. Now, like it's combining the player board and the tuck box, right? So like I love that that's just like a really good efficient use of space. And so I find that really not odd, awesome. And then something I found odd, and I can't decide on whether I like it or not, is you can upgrade dice with stickers. I think it is a cool mechanic. I am worried about the longevity of that. Yeah, I just am not sure. I'm not sure. I'd have to touch it, have it actually in my hands. So maybe Alex or someone else that's played it can talk about that on whether it's good. Maybe they have extra stickers, so if one falls off, you need to peel one off, you can put another one on. That would make me a lot happier. If there's only a very limited number of stickers, I'd be like, All right. This talks about the digital nature of it. I would always use an iPad. I have a problem with using my phone because my phone might have a text message pop up or whatever. I would much rather just have my iPad sitting on the table and doing it that way. Obviously, you have to have an iPad to do that, but I don't like playing games on my phone because it looks like I'm texting or it looks like I'm like not paying attention. I would always prefer to have it on my iPad. Cool. One really cool development that they did was image recognition. So a lot of these games are going to have QR codes, and they've skipped that entirely. And I think that's really they're pushing the envelope in several different ways on this campaign, I think. Image tracking, using storage components as game components, and then the choosing your own side. I'm not going to say any of those things are necessarily unique to this campaign, but I think they've presented it in a way that's a very good tactic of these are our competitive advantages. This is why you should back this game. So I think it's really good. All right, going in through what's in the box. You got meeples. You got all kinds of different stuff. Skipping on past all of that. You obviously upgrade the meeples into miniatures when you go to the bigger core pledge, the chest of plenty, or not the core pledge, the big pledge, the all-in pledge. And you get some cool minis that are unannounced yet. There's a vote that you get to make on what the mini is going to be. All that's always fun. More gameplay, how the game actually kind of goes. If you want to check this out in your own time, I think that they did a great job on their gameplay section for sure. Video previews, there are a lot of them, and I think that you need a good amount of previews for a game like this. Oh, look, there's our good friend Alex. Alex gave this a 4 out of 5. It was upgraded from a 3, and that was mostly because of the legacy element. Yeah, I think that was a good. I trust Alex's opinion a lot, and I really appreciate his opinion. So I was excited to see that he gave it 4, because a 4 is great. He rarely gives 5s. So a 4 is an excellent score. But yeah, people are gonna say, well, he's given a couple of 5s this year, or a few 5s this year already. I'm like, there was some good games this year, so it makes sense. I haven't seen him give away that many 5s. A 3-player playthrough from Quack. I'm gonna watch that at some point. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I definitely want to watch that. All right, going down here, they have a bunch of partners. This is just something that Lucky Duck does. They work really well with other people, and this is like some of the other games. And then you got the team here. Check them out. All right, cool. Shipping. One of the most complicated shipping sections I've ever seen. And they just wanted to be extremely thorough, I guess. It's generally there's one thing for the United States, and then there's like an asterisk at the end that says like certain regions in the United States will cost more, and you don't find out until you get the pledge manager, and that makes people mad. Probably better to be thorough, but this is intense, right? Like this is a lot of information on a shipping table here. All the shipping prices above are tax included. You only be charged the actual shipping cost in the pledge manager. So that tells me that is included. I really need to remember to talk to them once this campaign is done, because I just am curious. Like I need to start my company or register my company as like doing business in Germany. I'm sure they have obviously counteracted that, so you can't just do that. But seriously though, like it's so nice to be able to avoid some of those VAT charges if they are able to do that, because it's 20%. Like it makes $100 game $120 if it's something that we're making for people in the EU. So yeah, GDPR and data protection. I'm assuming that's a new Kickstarter thing. I haven't seen that before. Oh, it's not Kickstarter. It's because we're on Gamefound. Wow, that's probably bad for Gamefound that I was thinking we were on Kickstarter, but okay, that's fine. I found Earthborne Rangers stance on shipping to be an interesting way to go about it. I have to look at that if we get to them. All right, EU privacy stuff. Yeah, Paul, very familiar with GDPR. I just I haven't never seen it in a Kickstarter version, but this isn't Kickstarter, it's Gamefound. All right. Oros. Wait, how long have I been going? 30 minutes. Why do I always spend 30 minutes on the first game? Is it because I put the game I'm most excited about first? Or is it because I think I have more time and then I rush through the next two? I don't know. I can't tell you which one. All right. Oros did not launch today. Oros launched last week. I should have covered it last week. And I looked at it last week and was prepared to cover it last week. And then I was just like, I can't do it today. I just can't do it today. And everyone needs mental health days every once in a while. I'm a huge advocate for mental health and getting counseling. I've done counseling myself. I hosted a conference around mental health marketing. So I'm very passionate about that. And I just want to take a moment, say, if you ever want to talk about mental health, I am not going to be the person that wants to be your therapist, but I would love to talk about options out there for you. In fact, I want to try to figure out a way to bring that to cons, maybe some therapists playing games and talking to people while at cons. So if you're passionate about that, I'd love to talk about that. But I do think that every once in a while you just need to take a mental health day and need to be generous with yourself and just say, okay, today I don't have to do this. But yeah, mental health is very important. Take care of yourself, people. Matt, it is totally okay. You can always rewind this and watch it once I finished. And you've only missed one game because I spent so long talking about Divinus. I should do a recap of Divinus. Oops, sorry, Paul. Divinus, I'm really excited about. I really want to experience it for myself. I love exploration games. I love hybrid games. I really enjoyed Journey for Middle-earth. Some people don't like hybrid games, and that's fine. I would argue that if you've played a hybrid game on your phone, maybe try playing it on an iPad, or even like I played Legends or Journeys of Middle-earth on my laptop at the table, and that worked really well because that was on Steam, so that worked really great. But yeah, going to table Divinus, I think it looks amazing. I'm surprised it hasn't funded higher than it has on the first day, but I think it will keep funding very, very well. And I saw someone on here that said, yeah, because they didn't have an incentivized like first day, I think he said it'll be a slow burn. And I have seen that a lot where it used to be a third the first 2 days, a third in the middle, and a third the last 2 days. And I've seen so many front-loaded campaigns, right? So many campaigns. Our campaigns have been very front-loaded where it's just like you do half your funding in the first 2 days, and then you do 25% and 25%. And that's fine. Like that's not bad either. There's no bad way to do it. I mean, obviously you'd love it to be a third, a third, a third if you have a really big first day and second day, but it's fine. I think Divinus will be just fine. There's going to be a lot of gameplay. People are going to see it. I know that Derek and Lizzie Funkhauser are doing a gameplay, I think tonight, if you want to check that out on Board Game Spotlight. So yeah, it's going to be fun. All right. Oros. Be an all-powerful demigod in an ever-shifting world. Demigods. All right. An innovative, thinky, puzzle-like board game with layers of strategy and neat mechanics that erupt life on every turn. Now, this made me laugh because thinky, puzzle-like board game is something that people have said about Mythic Mischief. It's got a puzzle element to it, and they used a emoji. So there's an emoji. No emoji on Divinus, I don't think. Plus, it's on Gamefound. But let's just make sure. Nope, no emoji there. Just Earthborne. Nope. They should have had a bow and arrow or something. Rangers just seems like it'd be a good fit for that. Oros, 125 grand. This is not the first day. They've been active for a while. 2,000 plus backers. First created. Gotta love first created campaigns. 12 backed. Thank you for backing other games. AESC. How do you pronounce that, y'all? Worker placement is one of my weaknesses. Yep. I love worker placement too. Paul J. I've never really been interested in worker placement games, but everything about Oros screams quality. I can't wait to get my hands on this game. Yeah. Very excited about this game. And they made some choices that like just normally people on Kickstarter are like, no, that's got to be minis, or like, you know, whatever. And they made some choices where they just kind of like stuck to their art style and their vision for it. And I really like that. So 1 to 4 players. So there's a solo mode, 30 minutes per player, ages 14 plus, solo mode. So, you know, I look at these pages, I always want some kind of art a little bit higher, and they have really wonderful art. Like this box cover is beautiful. Like I wish there was just like a little bit of an art section that's like the art from the box cover just right there at the top, then into a quote, then into the what's in the box. But it's obviously not a huge deal. That's just personal preference. Love seeing a little bit of extra art if I can get away with it. So I wish that was right there. There's so many fresh, new, cool, mind-expanding ideas out there that works here that all work together so well. Rado, that's actually Rado. That's Richard saying that. So that's a big deal. It's a really wonderful quote. People should definitely be latching onto that when they're wondering about whether they should back this game or not. So, all right. So you got kind of like a what's all in the box thing. Obviously, it's not a what's in the box section, but just kind of a box explosion. Yeah. So we're going to move on. Board Game Circus is partnering for a German version, which is interesting that they put it here. I'm doubting that was there at the beginning of the campaign. I think that was probably a development that they were really excited about, or a lot of people had asked about, will you have a German version? And so they put it up here at the top so that if people came back to the page, they would see that. So that was good. The Wise One, immortal keeper of wisdom and knowledge, has sent you demigods endowed with power over elements to the far reaches of humanity. Your objective is to bring the mysteries of the mountains to the people scattered across the islands of Earth. So a fun little story piece there. I always like a little bit of story introduction, and you get a little look at the standees here. Exploring Oros, you got a man versus meeple preview. I think that's a good idea. I love having video content up higher on the page for people that aren't readers like myself. And so it's always good. Try to do like a overview or a preview that's relatively short. I wonder how long this is. So it's a little long. Generally for a video this high on the page, I try to keep it 2 minutes so that they don't navigate away, but they stick around and look more page. But this is probably wonderful. Oh, look, Ivy back. Look, it's right there. All right, what's in the box? Standard edition 1 pledge comes with the map, 2 map sizes to play on. I'm guessing that's how they manage their player counts there. So we go right from a little bit of story to what's in the box. So this is a lot of what's in the box, right? We've seen it here and we've seen it here, but it's also a pledge level explanation. So I don't hate that. I personally like gameplay higher, just because I'm not sure what I'm doing with all these tokens yet. I like to have an understanding of what I'm going to be doing with the components before I see the components, because then it makes sense. I'm like, oh, well, there's might be beautiful miniatures, but you don't use them for anything. And there's games that people complain about that, but you know, it's neither here nor there. So that's the base level there, and unlock up to 40 unique hidden items. Every 10 thumbs on BGG equals 1 new hidden items, and 10 out of 10. This is doing this. Never seen this before. I've seen social stretch goals. I've not seen hidden items. So they're not telling you what you're getting. And then it's also, you can get 10 out of 10 for doing this. So like, this is something that I'm going to show Sam, who's responsible for marketing on our team. Just be like, this is an interesting idea. BGG did so well. And then Instagram, Facebook, and they're a little behind. Every 10 shares on Instagram, every 10 shares on Facebook, every 10 retweets on Twitter. All right. Then you get the collector's edition. So you get broken up on these 40 unique hidden items. I'm assuming those are in the base game because of where they've placed it here. And then Kickstarter exclusive collector's edition. I'm not going to say anything negative about Kickstarter exclusive. I know we were talking about earlier. We've done 2 Kickstarter exclusive things on our pledges, 2 campaigns. So that's not, that's not something I'm going to be upset about. Paul J. The hidden items refers to little Easter eggs he will hide throughout the art of the game. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's amazing. Thank you for letting me know, Paul. Paul J., if you want to see more art, they have wallpapers in the updates. Oh man, I'm going to have to go do that. Matt, how can you not be interested in being a demigod? Those are awesome little standees. I agree, Dave. I really like the art. Yeah, that's cool. All right, cool. Moving on. Raised spot UV on the box. Gotta love spot UV. And a reveal that happens in 3 days. What happens when you take a great thing and make it greater? This reveal, you don't want to miss it. For collector's edition, little something for standard too. Exciting. You can tell this person is an Easter egg person, right? They've left lots of little teases of things throughout the whole page. And I think that's fun. It keeps people coming back. All right. So they've got the wooden meeples. They're a heat transferred 4-color. So it's a higher quality token for sure. I've never made tokens like this. I haven't made meeples in any of my games, but I think this is wonderful. I think they look really nice, and I like the designs on it. So yeah, I think it's a great little boost. Okay. So custom insert. This is how they got me. This is why I'm backed at this level. I don't like that I had to back at this level to get an insert because there's no insert mentioned in the top level, but it was a good plan because it got me. I've never considered doing a base level without an insert, but oh my goodness, is that a conversion technique? Because I can't buy a game and get it and just have everything floating in the box. Like, it just makes me angry, right? So like if I'm gonna buy a game, I have to have the insert with it. And so I saw the insert and I was like, dadgummit, I have to do this now. And it's interesting. It says designed by Blackform. I've never heard of Blackform. Never in my life. I'm curious. Have any of you heard of Blackform? They must be new, and a great strategy for a up and coming insert creator. Which I don't know if they're up and coming. They might be really established. Sorry if I don't know you, Blackform. Is to give them a discount for putting their name on the page, and for Gamefound, or not Gamefound, for Game Trays. It's also good for the publisher because people know Game Trays, they respect Game Trays, so it makes sense that you would put their logo on there. But I've not heard of Blackform. So, any of you heard of Blackform? Dave, who needs those when you can just have tons of little plastic baggies instead? Yeah, I love plastic baggies. I have a million plastic baggies. Actually, I don't know if you guys can see behind me. Probably not. Yep. So all of this behind me is rows and rows of miniatures and like little plastic books and all kinds of stuff that I'm stuffing into plastic baggies right now. So I am headed up to here with plastic baggies. So, all right, another reveal right there unlocks on August 6th, which is pretty close to the end of the campaign because I think they only have 15 days left. So what's that, 9 days from now? No, something like that. Growth incentive, aka stretch goals. Why rename stretch goals? Because I saw that in the pledge levels. So if you look at the standard edition pledge level stuff over here, it says all unlocked standard and collector's edition growth incentives. The first time I read that, I was like, what the heck is a growth incentive? I think it's fine. I just think it's funny that they renamed it, and it's just like they're trying to be different, and that's fine. Dreams come true. Board upgrade. So this is just mostly component upgrades, it looks like. Add linen, wooden tokens, player mats with spot UV, things like that. So next goal. I think that I need to reload. Something weird there. There we go. Next goal. Whenever you see a blank spot in a page and you're like, that doesn't look right, you always got to reload on Kickstarter because it means they've changed something since you've been looking at it, and it's phoned it off a little bit. Cool. I'm going to skip through that. Meet the Game. Oros is a strategy board game about humankinds. So here we are. We've gone through all the stretch goals. We've gone through all the what's in the box, and we're just now, other than, which I'm very glad they did this because they put the Man versus Meeple preview there, which I'm sure has a lot of gameplay in it. Other than that, this is the first time we're kind of seeing gameplay, and I wish that this was higher, right? So I now know that it's a worker placement game. I knew this before, but for sake of argument, tile shifting, area development, and action economy. So it's going through what this is. Now, this is not, it's plain text. It's got a header here, and if you're going to do black text on white background, this is the way to do it, right? I actually saw something from someone recently as some advice, and I don't know if that was on the show or not, but they said, if you're not going to do any plain text, have your sections have little subtitles with the section it's in. So like, for instance, your shipping image would have a shipping subtitle. And so if someone like Control F to search the page, they could find the shipping section really easily. And I thought that was interesting. A cool little tidbit that I might try to use, but I also don't want subtitles in all my images because it kind of breaks up the flow. So I might use it in certain places. William J. Brown, Hungry Gamer. I love the look and originality of this game. I do not have any other games like it on my shelf. That is a wonderful quote to include on the page because you are not just trying to convince people that your game is fun. You're trying to convince them that your game is fun and it's different from anything you have in your collection. Because if they have a game that is fun and it's the same mechanics and just a different art, then it really just comes down to theme. And theme can be great, but not appeal to someone. Like if I really like Westerns and I have a Western game that's a, dice rolling worker placement game, and a space dice rolling worker placement game comes out that looks very similar in gameplay, but I like Westerns more, then I don't need to buy that. But this is a great quote that says, I just love the originality of it. So wonderful quote. I might even put that higher somewhere. because there are some good quotes on the page, but they're pretty much relegated to the very top right here, Rados. So, all right, back down here. The page itself looks really, really wonderful. I do find it interesting that a lot of gameplay sections kind of get relegated to plain white text. There are wonderful images here. These images are beautiful, and they do kind of show you what's going on, but they're not very detailed. Like we have one image here for 7 different actions, and I kind of wish that those had GIFs. They don't have to be GIFs. I know GIFs are hard to make because you don't have an animator on your staff or whatever, and I'm very spoiled because I do. But still, just like having like a picture and then like an arrow, like you can do that in Paint, like just something to kind of show me like how these actions are actually happening on the board would be wonderful. Oh, hold on, but then it says for gameplay details, see the how to play section below. Oh, look at that! GIFs magically appeared. So my argument is, why is this here and this is below it? This should be above it and that should be below it, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. This is wonderful, right? I just think it should be higher. I always am going to vote for how to play to be higher in the page. Well, not higher. It could be, I don't want it at the very top. That would be silly. All right, going back up here. So like these things here are very simple, and I might never make it past this, is my argument, right? I might just go, okay, I am interested or I'm not interested. If I'm interested, then it doesn't matter that it's here because they've converted me and it doesn't matter. But this section I feel like should be higher. Okay. Why back now? A great game deserves great bits, and this is the kind of project Kickstarter was made for. Independent solar creator bringing an amazing project to life. I agree. That's exactly what Kickstarter was made for, and I love that they're doing that. All right. First created, reminding you. It's a wonderful first-time creator campaign, for sure. Rulebook in English, and then I think this is the creator here talking about the game. A full rundown on how to play. It is 20 minutes long. That's pretty normal for a full how to play rundown. Learn to play with Automa. I guess that's a button that takes you to another video. The implementation of the core mechanisms and the way they interact each turn doesn't feel like anything else I've played. Another person saying that it's very, very unique, which is great. All right, I'm going to skip through the rest of this page because I'm at 47 minutes. Infinitely connected map. I think that means you go around. It has the arrows that kind of like draw where you're going. Awards. I love it when I see first-time creators with awards because you know that means they've been working on this game for a long time and they've really solidified the design before they got here. We were looking at Distilled. Distilled had some other like awards. The Edison Award I think they had, and maybe an Ion Award as well. This is 2020 and 2021, and so this is more recent, but this is wonderful. So great job on that, and congratulations for getting those awards. We're going to skip through the solo mode, even though solo modes are great. They have massive pledge levels. I don't know if you guys saw this when you were going to back this or checking out the page, but the $1,500 one, there was 3. And you don't get travel included, but I mean, it's pretty cool. It's huge. What are you getting that? Gold Leaf Collector's Edition copy of Oros. 23 karat gold accents across the game components. That's wild. Like you have to be really, really wanting this game and have it be super special to do that. I always am surprised when small, like first-time campaigns have these massive pledge levels, and they sell them in most cases. Although I will say that the 751 is not sold quite as well. It's only at 1 out of 12. Okay. Lots of quotes. They've done a good job on quotes. I think they could have spread them out a little bit more throughout the page, but their quotes they've gotten are just incredible. We're about to compliment this game a lot, Jesse. Hey, look, it's Alex. Oros is an incredible puzzle and beautiful game, one that you actually should be paying attention to. Alex, I'm sure you're not listening because you were doing a gameplay, but if you have a score on this one, I'd love to hear it because I didn't watch your video on it. All right. Shipping section. Look at this shipping section versus this shipping section. Oh, look, I can just click here. Pew! It's like night and day, right? Anyway, this is a really pretty shipping section. Obviously, it's a simpler game. They have 2 versions. It's not as many different things that go into Divinus. But, I mean, in some ways, I would prefer this and then have the edge cases be figured out in the Pledge Manager. And people that live in, some random country that it does not have good shipping know that, they're going to have to figure it out. It's not going to be as as easy to figure out how much shipping is, but then they're also used to paying that shipping cost. And then like, it's such an edge case. Like 1 in 1,000 people is going to be like, my country's not on there, because so many of your backers are coming from Germany, USA, France, Poland, UK, and Canada, like, and Australia and New Zealand. Those are like the main countries, right? I probably left in maybe Spain, but so like I get that you only need so many, but then you have so many edge cases of expats that love board games, or just different regions that really like board games that need to be in there. But this is really the main ones that I would feel like need to be there. Chris, thank you. Alex's score for Oros was a 4. That is a great score. Oh, hey, Paul said the same thing. Sorry. Cool. Kickstarter does not let you change text color. Looks like the discount of MSRP is only $5 at either main pledge levels. Makes me wonder if it maybe just went hunting down at retail next year. That's a good question. I would say that if this was, come on, then yeah, do that. I would say that this is a very small developer. This is their first game, and they're at $126,000. It is extremely hard to make a game on $126,000. Only, even if you're only doing 5,000 units or something like that, you have to be registered in that. You have to get like shipping and import fees and licenses and all this random stuff. You have to pay lawyers. You have to do all these things. And that if it's going to be a difference of, if you have the money, if you don't have the money, you need the money to spend on, another board game or something like that. But if you have the money, I would say help them out and back on Kickstarter. That's just my opinion though. And I run Kickstarter, so I'm a little biased. But especially on a first time creator, they really seem like they got their crap together too. I mean, the awards, and then they've got this really nice timeline, which COVID has wrecked everybody's timelines, but this is happening after COVID. Well, it's happening after, when you know what those timelines are like now. So maybe that is more accurate than a lot of other people's have been. Cool. All right. So there's Brant. Brant, great work. Congratulations on your awards, and very, very best of luck on the rest of the campaign, which has got some time. 15 days. That's a good amount of time. I'm excited that we're backing this. Okay, 51 minutes. That leaves me 9 minutes to cover Earthbound Rangers. Earthborne Rangers. Got it. Anything else you guys want to talk about Oros or want me to look at? I think it's a wonderful looking game. I think it's very, very interesting. I love the little meeples. I love the wooden ones especially, which I'm glad I backed at the upgraded one, because I did it for the insert, but I'm very glad that I did it, just because it was something that I got a lot of good stuff for. It's not like it didn't make sense on an insert. It makes sense to upgrade. So yeah, and that's where most of their backers are. They've got 193 at the base, and then 1,400 at the upgraded one, which is pretty similar to Moonrakers. We had most people backing at the KS exclusive edition. So yeah, Dave said, retail may not actually exist as an option out there. Yeah, if it doesn't quite hit a certain level, sometimes you just don't have the money to pump into extra versions of the games, which means you don't have that many versions or that many copies of the game to sell to retailers at the end. So yeah, it can be hard. It can definitely be hard. All right. Earthborne Rangers. This is first day, just launched. They had some problems with the Kickstarter button. Man, this is cruising while we're waiting here. Apparently has gone up like 20 grand since I looked at it last. I'm going to refresh that. 87,000. All right. I want to approach this carefully. I have a lot of things I'm really excited about in this game. One, I thought it was going to be a limited or a collector's card game like Pokemon or something like that. It does not see an LCG. There it is. It does not appear to be that. I just assumed that based on something else the designer had done. So I do have some concerns and some things that I hope they add. And so I'm trying to couch it as something I hope they add versus this is something I don't like. Just because I want to be respectful of them as a publisher, and I don't want to come out and like, oh, we know what we're doing, because they're already at $87,000 on the first day. They know what they're doing. They're running a great campaign as far as the success of it goes. But there are some things that I found to be interesting that I felt were missing. First off, this is Andrew Navarro's company. If you don't know Andrew, he was creative director at Fantasy Flight Games. Fantasy Flight has made many of my favorite games, including Star Wars Rebellion and Twilight Imperium. He worked on at least Twilight Imperium. I don't know if he worked on Star Wars Rebellion. He's part of Arkham Horror card game. He's Marvel Champions and the Lord of the Rings Journeys to Middle Earth, which we talked about a lot today, mostly in reference to Divinus. Chris, are you sure it's an LCG? There's nothing on this page that tells me it's an LCG. And I don't see like anything about booster packs. It's a cooperative card game. It says customizable cooperative card game, so maybe we'll get to that because you keep saying that, but I haven't seen anything on the page that tells me that. But I trust you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just haven't read that from the page. But maybe we'll find it together. Maybe I didn't take a close enough look. Once again, this came out like an hour before my show came on, so I didn't have a ton of time. All right, so just remember that while I'm saying things that I hope they add, that they are running a great campaign, like the campaign's doing well. All right, back to Andrew Navarro. This is he joined another studio, and then he also made this studio. So he's doing some stuff with Chip Theory. Yeah. So yeah, he's a veteran of the industry for sure as a creative director. I think this is probably his first Kickstarter that he's run by himself, especially with Earthborne Games. Obviously, it's first created, zero backed. So that was my first thing of like, okay, if you're wanting to make a splash on Kickstarter and you have a lot of experience, then I think the first thing you got to do is either change your Kickstarter to be your company Kickstarter so that it has a lot of backed games in it, or go out and back every game you can for like 3 months to have that not be a zero backed number. Like my advice to them now would be just like go back every live thing in board games right now. Just because it needs to not say zero there. That is a bad for industry. That is something that will come up in comments. I would think maybe it's not in their comments. I don't see it real quick, but that definitely has come up in other people's comments section. Whoa, that's not the right place to go. All right. But yeah, just go back some games and that will be fixed. Like even you don't need a lot. Like some people do like 10 games and that's enough. Like the last game we looked at, Oros had 7. Oh, 12, sorry. What one had 7? Anyway, you know what I mean. So go back some games. Lots of stuff. Customizable card game with the idea is that you start with a base game and depending on the popularity, there will be more expansions and boosters, which is the hallmark of an LCG. Totally. But like it's also not like I have my deck, you have your deck, and I spent $1,000 on my deck, and so it's going to be better than your deck, and you have to spend thousands of dollars every year in order to keep up with the hottest stuff. It's not like Magic the Gathering is in that sense. Brent, yeah, I'm going to get to the price point for sure. Sorry, I'm being attacked by a bug. Age of Adam, I watched a Man vs. Meeple preview this, and they compared it to the Arkham Horror card game. So that would be correct. Chris is right. Chris has proven me wrong, but it just doesn't scream it to me on the page. So maybe they were trying to avoid that. All right, right away, we got some art. First off, I love the name. I don't know if you guys have heard of a book called Mistborn. It is a book by Brandon Sanderson, my favorite author. And so when I heard Earthborne, I was like, I like that. That's a nice little name. And then I love the idea of a ranger. I'm a big Aragorn fan. I think that that's a fun thematic call with like that. Like you're some kind of loner that's also like trying to protect people. Is kind of the vibe I get from that. So I like the name. I like the vibes that I'm getting from it. The art's cool. So right off the bat, I'm pretty happy with everything I'm seeing here. I think the edges are very stark on the Kickstarter page, and that's more of a Kickstarter problem than it is an art problem. But I would have probably tried to make some kind of border, have it bleed off or something like that. But that I'm not a creative director, so I'm not gonna rag on them for that. But I really like overall the look of it. The wilderness of the far future beckons in this customizable cooperative card game for 1 to 4 players. Really, really cool and evocative art here. I'm really curious of what these things are. Explore a lush and vibrant world full of natural wonders and mysterious ruins. This art is straight from the cards, which is cool. And they're kind of showing that you're encountering majestic wildlife and dangerous predators and just more of the kind of character art. And it looks really cool. I like it. I think it looks awesome. Cool beans. It's definitely a card game where you have lots of effects on different cards and different, like, order of operations and different stuff like that. And so you have to like this kind of game in order to, I think, probably get into this. But this kind of game, I think this will be more approachable than going and buying tons of Magic the Gathering cards or something like that. So Uncover the Valley's secrets in a sprawling open world narrative campaign. Most of these type games are battle games, right? Like it's and so I haven't played Arkham Horror LCG, so that's probably different, a different story. But I like that this is like an exploring and kind of open world narrative, kind of storytelling game, but with the elements of a card game where you're having lots of effects and different things. So yeah, I like this a lot. Earthborne Rangers. So this is coming up in the content right now. What do you think of the price point? Price point seems high. Environmental production, and everyone will tell you to go buy 2 boxes of it anyway. So people just commenting on the price. $80 pledge core set, Kickstarter exclusive price. You save $20 off of MSRP. So includes a full playset of approximately 500 cards, 70 tokens, 1 rulebook, and 1 campaign guide. All right. You look at what's in the box there, and we'll kind of even scroll down so you can kind of see that it comes with a certain number of Ranger cards, Valley cards, whatever, different cards. I really want to know the quality of these cards for several reasons. One, if the cards are everything in the game, I want them to be really nice, right? 2, black core linen finish cards are extremely expensive. On Moonrakers, it was our number 1 cost in that game by far, which makes sense. It's a deck builder, like your cards should be your number 1 cost. But people just see cards and like those aren't expensive. Well, that's because like they're used to like blue core cards from like terrible component quality games, right? And you start getting into like closer to poker quality cards. Not quite there. Black core's not quite to like tournament poker quality. But they're very expensive, and very, very nice to when you get to that level. But it really adds to the feel, and that's something that we wanted. So I want to know what these are. So I'm going to be looking for that as I go down the page, whether there's a stretch goal to make them bigger or if they say it anywhere. But like I said, I didn't get a time to study this page. I was in a meeting right before this. So yeah. Aaron, those cards are busy from the jump. Spider card. I did see that. Spider pad gloves, gear / clothing / tech. Yeah, there's a lot of things there. I think that's probably because of modifiers, though. Like, be like add 1 like +1 to a gear, and so they want gear to refer to a bunch of different things, not just like one item. And so I get that. Like, I think it just depends on gameplay whether that makes sense to have it that busy or not. And I think it probably does. All right. So yes, there is not a lot theoretically of stuff in this $80 pledge as far as unique items. There's no minis, there's no, wild, components of any kind that are really like, this is the key component. And a lot of Kickstarters tend to try to have that one big component, right? Where it's like, this is what we're selling you on. This is what's making it worth it, whether it's minis or whether it's an interesting board or, something. And I think the thing here is the cards. Cards are expensive and art is expensive. And from what I have seen, I don't see duplication in these cards. Now, it doesn't say unique cards. It says it includes a full playset of approximately 500 cards. If it is unique, they need to add that there ASAP, in my opinion. Because if it's unique, that means there is over 500 pieces of art in just the core set. Well, maybe not, because the 24 card challenge deck doesn't really have art, but everything else seems that it has art, and that would be a huge cost and really add to the depth of the game and add to, like, when you find a new card, you really want to look at the art and check it out, and makes it more interesting as you're playing. It's not just kind of the same, like, oh yeah, I got another sword, and it's like, well, all the swords are the same. So Felix, this game is from the art director of Arkham Horror LCG. Is that right? Do you take that for a kind of guarantee that this game will also be cool? I take it as a guarantee that the artwork is probably something they invested in a lot of time in. I can't say whether the game is going to be cool or not because I haven't played it, but considering the pedigree of the people making it, I would assume that it is pretty good. But that's why you have people like Alex and Jesse and other people that have played. I don't think either of them covered this, though. Maybe they did. But I think Man vs. Meeple was brought up. I would definitely go check those out. But yes, creative director, not art director. Cool. $150 gameplay all-in pledge comes with double those cards, basically, and more stuff. And it comes with double the Ranger cards, excuse me, not double all the cards. And then you got some playmats. The playmats art is incredible, in my opinion. Really, really cool looking, but not super distracting when you have cards done on there. An art book, which considering the number of pieces of art in this game, that makes sense. And then introducing Earthborne Rangers, custom model cooperative. We got a plain white text, basically how to play section. So you've got create your own ranger. You begin by choosing their aspects that grant you resources and using during play. This kind of reminds me of Journeys of Middle Earth. The way that you kind of craft your character is by putting cards in a deck, basically. And then narrative actions. This is interesting. I didn't have a ton of time to read about this, but the majority of the cards at the table have one or more narrative actions to perform, and it kind of seems like it tries to fit into the story. Some of the cards try to fit into the story, which is fun, and helps you interact with the world around you, is what they say. But kind of hard to know too much about that without playing it. The world comes to life. Explore an open world, available in languages. Our commitment to sustainability, material components, stretch goals. All right, so I'm just kind of scrolling through this to show you that there's not really a gameplay section. You get to media, you get to creative team, and then you just get to the end of the Kickstarter stuff. And I wonder if that's something that they're rolling out. If it's not something they're rolling out, it really needs to be here, because you have this, which maybe they're counting this as gameplay, kind of like showing you what you're going to be doing, but it doesn't tell me really how I'm doing any of this stuff, or like how many actions do I have in my turn? How do I play cards? How do I get new cards? How do I level up? How do I move around the board? How do I move around the world? Like how does any of that happen? And I don't get any of that from this page. And like I said, I didn't have a ton of time to explore it because of it launching late, and that's not their fault. Kickstarter's having errors. But there's just not that on the page. And so I'm like, okay, is it up in the video? Well, I skipped the video. And people will be like, well, maybe Austin should start watching videos because he always says he skips the videos. But but a lot of people skip the videos. So the information in the video needs to be on the page somewhere. And so I do want to go back and watch the video now. But like, there is no videos on this page at all, except for right here. And it's a early prototype rules overview, which, if it's going to be the only thing on my page, I'd at least want it to be a modern prototype rules overview, or name it something different if the rules are roughly the same. Like that's not the piece of media you want on this page. The piece of media you want on this page is external verification. There's no external verification on this page. Someone said they watched Man vs. Meeple play this, didn't they? If that is a video that exists, why isn't it on this page? And I think that's my biggest. I hope they add more external verification, more quotes, more how to play. Because I am very surprised, and I think it's because they have a following, and Andrew Navarro has a following, that they're at $90,000 of their $100,000 goal. It looks like they're going to fund easily in their first day, not to mention the next 20 days that they have. But it just is very surprising to me that 777 people said there's enough on this page for me to back this game, because I don't really know how to play it. I don't have a clue of how to play it. Now, do I think the price point is off? It's high, but there's a ton of artwork and there's a ton of cards. And if it is, supposed to be collector's level quality, I'd hope the quality of the card is high. And it's just so expensive to make games right now. Like it doesn't surprise me that it's this high. I do think it's going to affect people backing it that don't know much about the game right now. They've obviously sold a bunch of people before launching the campaign, and those are the people that are backing it. But if they want to convert, if they're doing ads, or if they're trying to convert people coming to Kickstarter, there's just not enough on this page to go on, because you're just trusting that it's good based on one person's reputation and some art, and that's it. There's no external verification. There's no how to play. And you can call this a how to play section, but it doesn't actually tell you how to play. It just kind of gives you a few little moments of what you're going to be doing. So I just hope they add it, because I am backing this game. We back everything we cover on this show, and I am very excited about the artwork. I'm very excited having a contained LCG. I did not think it was an LCG when I started the stream, because it doesn't say anything about being an LCG on the stream other than being customizable. Like Journeys of Middle Earth, it's not an LCG, right? It's an experience. It's a digital experience. I know it's not a one-to-one comparison, but that's something else that Andrew Navarro has worked on. But it's not a veteran campaign. And I've seen amazing first time campaigns. You're talking about Distilled, you're talking about the Chicago. Is it just called Chicago? No, it's not called Chicago. Well, yeah, this is like one of my favorite things I've talked about in the last few weeks. What is this video called? Dang it. Scarface. Thank you. Scarface 1920. Like, that was a first time campaign. And I look at these two campaigns and I'm like, guys, there's so much that's good here. They just need to add a little bit more to convince people, in my opinion. Because if you're going to charge $80, there's a lot of convincing. You can't just take $80 on faith, right? But it's not going to be a lot. They have a lot of really good content on this page. It's just like a gameplay video, and that's something that we're doing tonight with wow, guys, my brain. We're doing tonight with Bantam West, because Bantam West didn't have a ton of gameplay videos, and I think that that's one thing they identified is we need to do more of. And so we're talking, it's like, yeah, let's do a gameplay video together. That sounds amazing. I'm really excited to play that game. But there's just nothing like that on this page. All right, gonna wrap up my thoughts on things I need to add there. But really impressed by the artwork. I think it looks incredible, and I want to know more, which is a good thing. Their page is telling me I want to know more. They just need to have more information available. All right, cool. Aaron, this looks like a red flag campaign for me. I don't know what the game is. I'm worried about the complexity and the price is quite high. I'm with you there. Unfortunately, I have to save my money for Spiel, and I have to be more restrictive with my buys. By the way, we'd be at Spiel Austin. I've gone from 0%. Like, I was like, I'm not going, to 100% I'm going. And now I'm somewhere around 80%. I'm not positive I'm going. Yeah. So Dave says it's not in the video. So there's no gameplay description in the video. Yeah, it is a little unsettling. There's nothing like that here. I just think that Kickstarter veterans are going to come to this page and scroll through it and be like, where is that? Like, I expected that and it's not here. But the game looks really cool. I don't know. I think coming from Fantasy Flight, Fantasy Flight doesn't do Kickstarter. They do, press releases, and they do, we tease some artwork and we talk about it, and then the game goes to market and people cover it, and that's how they sell their games. And I just think that it's probably just a little bit of that carrying over to his new company, where he hasn't experienced running a Kickstarter before. So yeah. Anyway, I am backing it. I think it's going to be great. I just want them to add more so that more people back it. All right, cool. An hour and 12 minutes. Dang it. Oh, another too long of an episode. All right, guys. We're going to do a giveaway, and the giveaway is going to focus around Divinus. And I want to hear one, it could just be what you think about it, what you're excited about. But I also want you to come up with a demigod that is not Norse and not Greek. So you're going to have to hunt for this. This is a homework assignment that it would be hilarious to see come into the game as a third party and try to take over. So it could be, there's quite a few pantheons out there. If you look, it could be an Egyptian pantheon or a Roman pantheon, where they're just like, hey, we're coming in here and we're busting this place up. It's ours now. So I think that would be really fun if they added like, hey, we heard there's a war. We're here. They shouldn't do that from a creative standpoint, but hey, we can do it in our comments section. So to enter that, it's for a Moonrakers Kickstarter exclusive edition, or if you want something else Moonrakers related, that's totally fine. All you need to do is comment after the video ends in the comment section, and we will go from there. Guys, thank you so much for being here and watching. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to change about the show. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. I never say that, and our subscriber count has grown, and I'm very thankful for that. But we're really trying to boost our reach right before we launch Mythic Mischief. So tonight we're going to be playing Bantam West. I'm very excited to play finally. I've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks. And then Friday is our first step in a new, it's not a new series. It's called The Road to Kickstarter. It's something we're going to do on Ivy Games Weekly the month before all of our campaigns. So Ivy Games Weekly, 11 months out of the year, will be content from around the space, talking to different creators, talking about different games, talking about different themes, talking to content creators. And then the month before each of our campaigns will be focused on that campaign, where we'll talk about the initial idea, we'll talk about the artwork, we'll talk about the marketing we're doing, we'll talk about the Kickstarter page, and then we'll talk about on launch day. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out and chatting. And yeah, please let me know if you have any thoughts for us, and make sure to comment on the comment section after the video so that you can be entered into the giveaway for Moonrakers Kickstarter exclusive edition. I'll see you at 8:30 tonight for Bantam West. Thanks for watching.